I'm going to be on my other platforms as well. So if you don't like this setup with my phone, you can go over there, and I have a picture-in-picture setup in landscape mode. But before I do that, is anyone here? I still feel like I've been doing this for 5 years. I just realized just this minute. And I still don't feel like I don't know what the heck I'm doing a lot of the time. Let's go. Okay, so we're on YouTube. All right. All right. All right. That's cool. Let me see. Let me just edit it and turn on my thing. Not now, Chrome. I have new patterns and new, hey, how you doing? I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for the rose, because I wanted to show these off. And you, Say Less Textiles, and I don't even know your first name. You inspired these. This is the 6-day, I'm calling it the Starro shawl because it's made with Noro. This is the star version. They gave me 2 balls to do it with so I could make it bigger. And this is the Superstar. So they gave me 2 number 4, Yukata number 4, and they gave me 2 Yukata number 6. This is the number 6. And it's the Superstar. Sam. I think I did know that actually. So thank you so much. You inspired a trend and you got the attention of Knitting Fever. They kept messaging me on Facebook saying, "Oh, would you like to design for us? We'll send you yarn. We'll send you yarn." And I don't, I don't jump on those offers sometimes, but thank you so much. But then I was like, well, somebody on TikTok just made, a star shawl with the yukata, the Noro yukata. So I'd love to try that. So they're going to be making these, they're supposed to make these up as kits. Nothing like this has ever happened. I know, I love it. I really love it. So, thank you. I owe you a debt of gratitude. And I updated the pattern so that it's really hard to find them because I really hid them well, but I put little holes along the side edge for a shawl pin. There it is. I feel it. I feel this one. Where's the other one? There it is. Is that it? Anyway, it's got 2. And I ordered these really cute shawl pins on Etsy to hold it together. They're great. I love them. So that's what I'm doing. How are we doing over here? So I have that coming out, and then I have a lot of like baby blanket patterns for the 6-day kid blanket, and it's been my goal for the past 2 years to like update them and put them out. And my goal to do that was April, but then this project came along and it really slowed me down. So I did these 2 shawls for them. And I also have a full-size blanket that I'm doing for them in Noro. They sent me 6 balls of the Noro Tsubami. So I have a pattern for that I'm going to call the 6-day beach house blanket, and I was working on that last week. In fact, that's it right here too. I'll show that off. Look at that. Look at those colors. Oh my gosh. They're so gorgeous. So gorgeous. So this is going to be the 6-day beach house blanket with Noro yarn. Like never in my wildest dreams did I think I would be making a full size blanket with Noro. Ah, so great. I'm like I'm swimming in Noro right now. Can you believe it? Holy crap. I hope I didn't make this too wide. I only have 6 balls, so I think I'll know at the end of the first 2. I might have made it a little bit too wide, but we'll see. I'm living on the edge. Okay, so I'm just gonna crochet and chat. Yes. Oh my gosh, it's been so great. And it was all your idea, Sam. You started this. You started it. And I appreciate it. Okay, so today, let me see. I wasn't going to work on this on camera, but I really just need to get it done because I'm going to release it on June 1st. And this is another version of the 6-day kid blanket. And if you know anything about my pattern, it's basically the same 6 rows of stitches, but when you change colors on different rows, it looks different. So that's why we have like the one on this side of me, that's the Australian confetti, that's the 6-day kid blanket. And the one over here is the viral blanket. And it's just basically the same 6 rows, but you change colors on a different row. So this is, I have 2 new stripes coming for the 6-day kid blanket, and this is one of them, and I can't say what I'm going to call it because I had people email. I asked people to suggest names for it, and I picked a name. 2 different people suggested this name, and I picked a name, but I haven't announced it yet. I let them know I picked their name, but I haven't announced what the name is yet. So I'm going to do that soon, and then I'm going to try and release this on June 1st. I'm not going to try it. I'm going to release it on June 1st, but I have to finish the dang thing so that I can photograph it. I have 5 more stripes to go, plus the edge. I'm going to get it all done right now. I just really need to get it done, so that's why I'm working on this tonight. So if you're the type of person that can watch and figure things out, you'll figure out the new stripe. And it's not that hard to figure out, but some people like to have the exact directions and they don't want to figure it out. I'm kind of one of those people. Hi, North Texas. Hello. Hi, everybody. All right, TikTok, I'm going to put you up there. And I'm going to get to work. I didn't really go anywhere this weekend, and I was like, I kept saying, I just want to go live. I just want to go live. It's like my socializing sometimes. Also, this next week, my birthday is coming, and my sister's coming to visit, and we will probably do some fun things. I don't know if I'll be live a whole lot. Okay, it's hard to tell if that can be seen or not. Amanda's here. Trina is here. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, goodness. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, am I frozen? On TT? Thank you, Leia. Gemini. Oh, you're a Gemini also? Wait a minute. Okay, I'm on the wrong. I gotta flip. How do I do it again? I do this every time. No, it's not that. It's mirror your video. Now, is it right? Is it right? Did it flip? Yes. Okay. Cool. I'll just bring y'all in a little bit. Yes, I will be Yes, we're the best, except when we're the worst. And he said, "Oh yeah, Gemini, you're two-faced." And I was like, "Yeah, that's true. I am." Okay. Well, let me crochet on camera. Let me actually get my work in view here. All right. Well, people are starting to show up here on the Outer Banks of North Carolina, where I live. So the magic of the 6-day kid blanket and the different looks are created by changing colors on different rows. And the this version, which I can't say the name of just yet, you should really be on my email list if you really want to know, or in my Facebook group. Changes colors on row 6, and it uses front post double crochet to create the textured row. And I really struggled with the border on this one. Usually I use Edie Ekman's books, Around the Corner Crochet Borders, and I choose something out of her book and I, bounce off of that. And I was just coming up dry for this one. I was like, you know what? I think I've outgrown Edie's books. I'm so sad about it because I love her. And I had to come up with something myself because I really wanted the edge to have that same, ridge line, textured ridge line that the rest of the blanket has. This is the wrong side, so you can't really see it. So I did, is my swatch in here? I don't know where my swatch, oh, there it is. I'm sitting on it. Here's what the edge looks like. I came up with that all on my own. Just because I was like, it has to have those ridges, Also, I missed my nail appointment on Friday. Oh, I'm going to be mad at myself for doing that. I mean, I already am mad at myself, but I have, how when you have the acrylics and they start to chip underneath. Really happy to have you here, Facebook user from North Texas. Let's see. Hi, Amy Bryson. You needed an excuse. Amy Bryson says, thank you for being on tonight. I needed an excuse to hide and hook. I love that. Hide and hook. That was me all weekend. I did get a lot done, though. Let's see. Aleka Agre says, "So very beginner question. How do you tell the right side from the wrong side in crochet?" You can tell the right side from the wrong side. It just depends on the stitches, honestly. This one has these rows with the texture. So this is the right side where you have the textured rows. And then on the wrong side, you just can't see them as well. But it's still beautiful. There you go. Where do I buy your patterns? All my patterns are on my website, bettymcknit.com. You can access them there for free with ads, or you can purchase an ad-free PDF. I do it both ways. You're very welcome, Aleka. I want to say Allegra. It's that GR in your last name. This one isn't out yet. I have like, I'll tell you the best way to get my patterns is to join my membership community, the Betty McKnitiverse, because as soon as I was done writing this up, I posted it in there. You get it for free. You get all my old patterns, 3 patterns a month, 3 or 4, I think it is now, for free. And then a lot of my patterns are just the 6-day kid blanket rewritten in a different way. But I've been putting new edges on everything. So one thing that people that are in my membership community, a lot of them have already made the 6-day kid blanket a bunch of times, so they don't need a new pattern for it, but they do like to have the borders, the new borders that I make. And some of them just print them out when I make them and have them in a little binder folder. And, you know, when they're looking for a border for something, they just go through the borders for the different blankets. I think I have 10 different borders in there now. I just added this one tonight. So they've already got the border. They already have the pattern. They've had the pattern, maybe not this one, but the other baby blanket I'm going to release, the retro rainbow baby blanket pattern. They've had that one for a while. What's everybody else working on tonight? Thank you very much. The yarn is Stylecraft Special DK. And the colors are, Amy Bryson says she's working on the 6-day 8-pointed star. That's the other thing that is in the McKnitiverse. That might be one of my best patterns, and it is not available outside of my membership. I made it, I put it in there just for them. They really like it, and so I just put it in my exclusives, and I'm just going to leave it there. That's just for members. It's a riff off of the 6-day star blanket, but it has 8 points instead of 7. It's a couple other little different things, and we've been doing different things with it. Half Moon Goddess shawls. Amanda Palmer says I'm working on my Half Moon Goddess shawls. Taking a little break from work. She's got 2 of them going. Did y'all hear? She started not 1, but 2. That yarn is so pretty too. We have crochet alongs in there, craft and chat a couple times a month. We have little design workshop calls where I work on new stuff like this, and people give me ideas and work up stuff for me to help me figure it out. Those calls are really fun. What's everybody been watching on TV? Like, are there good shows coming out? When are we going to get more dragons, Game of Thrones, or House of the Dragons, or whatever the heck they're calling it? When are we going to get more dragons? When are we going to get more Outlander? When are we going to get another season of Severance? Oh my gosh. That was such a cool show. Amy Bryson says it's a really nice little family-like community. Yeah, it is. It's you know, we all get to know each other in there, and it's fun. You really do have a fun time, and hanging out and crocheting is just like what we do. Talking, working on new stuff, trying out different yarns, encouraging each other to buy yarn, enabling, I should say. Enabling unnecessary yarn purchases. That happens sometimes. Need a couch project and a train project. Neither have made it to the train yet. I would say the Half Moon Goddess is probably a pretty good train project. The perfect train project is the Metro North scarf. I designed that one on the train. That's why it's called Metro North. This pattern uses front post and back front post stitches, and it uses front and back, no, not front and back post stitches on the edge. The edge is worked in the round. It's just busy work at this point. This is my last repeat through these colors. Let me see, I have two more stripes after this one. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my pattern because I had to kind of figure it out. Yeah, because this white, oh no, this peach is the last one, so I have two more, and then the white will be the edge, the cream will be the edge. The colors are called, I think this one I'm working with is called Toy. And this one's turquoise. The blue is, I think, turquoise, vintage peach, cream, and duck egg. Duck egg is my favorite color of Stylecraft Special DK. I don't know why. I think it's just the name, honestly. Duck egg. You did a Metro North on the train already? It's a good one, right? It's a good traveling scarf. Is everybody finishing up school soon? What's everybody doing? What plans does everyone have for summer? Couple rows and a border away from completing a sedge stitch baby blanket. I'm getting excited to start a new 6-day baby blanket for a new baby boy. Oh, that's so nice. This is a new baby blanket. How do you crochet without getting a bump behind your neck? Well, for one thing, I sit up straight and I don't bend my head. I don't I keep my neck straight when I work. I don't look down. I wear progressive lenses, so I look down with my eyes. And I'm actually a little uncomfortable crocheting on this desk. I think I need a little something to raise my work up a little bit. But I work with my arms propped up. I'm a yoga teacher and a somatic practitioner, so and I was a dancer for a long time, so I have a lot of body awareness. I crochet on the couch while watching TV, but I noticed I'm getting a bump behind my neck. Well, is your head down? You need to put a pillow on your lap so that you can keep your head and neck straight. Prop up your arms. You know, sitting and crocheting for a long time can be really hard on your body. Round over, ding, ding, ding. Andrew's here. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? This is row 7. Tripping from Texas to Seattle the last 2 weeks of June. So I need a 6-day blanket project for the car ride. Oh, man. Yeah, you need to sit up straight and keep your arms and your work propped up so that it's, at eye level, close to eye level. Learn to look down using just your eyes and not your whole head. And I think I linked this massage tool in my Amazon influencer store. This is thank you very much. This is a fascia massage tool, and I use this lymphatic massage oil, and then use that on that bump on your neck, and just bring some awareness to bring your chin back. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nadia. My nails need redone. I usually go on Fridays, but I didn't go. I had an appointment instead, which kept me from going. And I'm feeling it too, because I every 2 weeks I force myself to go to Virginia Beach or Norfolk or somewhere and get my nails done and go shopping a little bit in, the quote unquote real world. Because I live in a tourist area and it can be kind of remote at times. So I get my hair done up there. I get my nails done up there. But it does take a whole day. And I have to force myself to leave the house because it was today I was supposed to go somewhere and I didn't go. Because it was in the middle of the day and I was like, I just want to work all day. I just want to work, and I got a lot done. Not only did I get a lot done, in writing up these patterns, I think I wrote up and posted 4 things in my membership community today. But I also got a bunch of cleaning done around the house. I was like, I'm not going to waste this. Hey, Miss D. Louise. D is the one that came up with this stripe. that I'm doing, but we're not telling people what it's called yet. I live in a little village in Alaska, so I don't get my nails done much. I hear you. I mean, there are not a lot of full-time people here where I live. Um, and there are nail salons here, but I force myself to go drive to Virginia Beach. It's about 2 hours away, and get off the island. I live on an island. I just get off the island and go, you know, I call it the land of the living. But really, it's just it's just for a change of scenery on my part. It's not good for you to just be in one place all the time. And I mean, I moved down here because I was working at home. I was doing everything at home. I, I didn't have anywhere I needed to be unless I wanted to. My job's at home. So I thought, well, I could be at home anywhere. Where do I want my home to be? And I came here. We have the same color nails. I have the, I don't know if they'll change colors, but I have the color change. See how they're turning purple? When they're warm, it's like the mood polish. Remember mood rings? When they're warm, it's blue, and when they're cold, they turn purple. I'm trying to make them turn purple right now. See that? Aren't they cool? Peyton wants to know, when did you start crocheting? I started crocheting when I was 7 years old. My aunts, my grandmother and my aunts they always had crochet projects when they came to the house. And, we were just sitting and visiting or whatever, and we would eat, we'd have dinner, whatever we were doing, and then they would pull out their projects and they would sit and work on stuff. My grandmother, when she came to see us, she always had a blanket going. Apparently my grandmother was the only one who knitted. The rest of them all just crocheted, but she crocheted and knitted. And I asked her to teach me how to knit, and she did teach me, but it didn't stick at that time. So I think later in life I was, let me think. I think I was pregnant with my son when I taught myself how to knit again. And then after that happened, I didn't really crochet so much anymore. And when I did crochet, it was because I wanted to make a baby blanket or something, make something up really fast. But I started knitting more, and I knitted, and I didn't really do anything but knit for a while. And then, when crochet went out of fashion, or at least in my mind it did, for a time. Or maybe I just became a knitting snob for a little while there. And then I did this pattern, and it was around for a while, and it went viral a couple times, and then I decided to, like, lean into it and publish more and do more with it. And so now I mostly crochet, but I also knit. Am I sad today, Betty? No, I'm good. I think I have a little allergy stuff going on. I'm good. I'm good. What makes you ask me if I was sad? Because I was sniffing like that? Thanks for following. Where'd you go, Andrew? What are you guys talking about? I was never really trying to be a, well, that's weird. Your voice sounds shaky like someone crying. I think that's just how I sound. I haven't been live in ages dealing with that. I hope you're okay. I do both knitting and crochet. I really like that when you see crochet. You know it's handmade because it can't be done with a machine. That's true. Hey Paulina, it's the 6-day kid blanket. It's a new variation I'm going to release on June 1st. And I can't say what the name of the variation is yet because I haven't announced it. I wasn't going to work on this one live, but I really just need to get it done. And I'm so close. I'm like, come on. Thank you very much, Bobby. Does it really only take you 6 days to crochet? You can do it. It can be done. The original 6-day kid blanket was toddler sized with a no Bubbles, you hear it, it's there, it's just it's my allergies is what you're hearing. I think I'm a little phlegmy. Does it really only take 6 days? If you so when I made this pattern, I wasn't really thinking, I don't, at the time I was like, oh, let me just publish this on that new thing, Ravelry, and I don't even know why I did it at the time. I was like, no one's going to want to make this. And sure enough, a lot of people made it. So I wasn't really thinking like, oh, if I call it the 6-day whatever, then if somebody makes it in a different, like I didn't think it through. So you can make a 6-day blanket if you start with 120, I think we figured 123 or 122 or whatever the multiple for 6 or 7 points is. If you make it 7 points or less, you can do it in 6 days. This one, the baby blankets, can be done in 6 days. And when I say 6 days, the original was just a couple of hours at night while I was watching TV. I wasn't trying to get it done really fast. It just is a really fast make. This one, let me see, how many points did I make on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 points. You will need more than 6 days. But I would say 10 days. You could probably do this one in 10 days pretty easily. Or if you wanted to spend more than 2 hours a day crocheting, like 3 hours, you could do it probably in 6 days. You do not have to work day and night. Most of the variations are pretty quick makes. If you can't do it in 6 days, I do give I explain that in the pattern. It's a very versatile pattern. It's like once you start making these, it's like really addictive. And then you can make them different every time by changing colors on different rows. The stitches work up great in cake yarns. In fact, I used to say cake yarn is made for the 6-day kid blanket. It's really true. if you go to my TikTok, you can see where I did an entire blanket in 2 marathon sessions. It took me, I think I figured out that it took 14 hours to make the whole blanket, but it was chunky yarn. But it was a whole full-size blanket, and that was pretty cool. So they do work up quickly. You don't have to work day and night, and I hate when people say stuff like that. You only know how to do granny squares. I tried something like out and it came out crooked. You mean crooked? You know, I have videos to help you. It's a little tricky to get started, but if you can do a granny square, you can do this. Oh, it wasn't you. It was somebody else said 6 days working day and night. Thank you, Miss D. And then when you get tired of making 6-day kid blankets, you can make a 6-day star blanket. And when you get tired of making the star blanket, you can make the 6-day granny square blanket. Granny, great granny, and great granddaddy blankets. I'm like a one-hit wonder. Just about every pattern I make has these same 6 rows of stitches because everybody loves them, including me. And also they're addictive and they work up really fast. Don't forget this bright, it's not turquoise, it's turquoise. It's called turquoise. Six-day star blanket can definitely be done in 6 days. Those are faster than the regular 6-day blanket. I don't know why. They work up faster and they don't take as much yarn. It's the 6-day kid blanket. All my patterns are free on my on my site, bettymcknit.com. Thank you for the tips. I have to get dinner ready. Okay, have a good dinner. I'll catch you again another time. Make sure to follow. Hey Tammy, thanks for the follow. Dee, back from New York? Finishing up the 6-day star blanket. Will post soon. My granddaughter is going to love it. Lion Brand Mandala. Oh man, those mandala cakes were made for the 6-day kid blanket and star blanket. They look so good. Thanks for sharing the live. I appreciate it. I'm going to take a little break at the end of this row. I ordered one of those red light heating pads the other day on Amazon too, to try that out for my hands and arms for crochet. They're supposed to be really good for inflammation. If I like it, I'll put it in my Amazon store. But Nadia was asking before about crocheting without getting a lump in your neck, and it's your posture when you're crocheting is really important. What was that noise? There's that noise again. I don't really know what made it. It's really weird. Andrew asks, does it matter which way you turn your work at the end of a round? It doesn't matter, but I would recommend getting in the habit of turning one way and then the other. So you don't want to always keep turning your work in the same direction, because then you might twist your yarn. Right? So you want to turn this way and then turn that way. So you go this way and then back. You don't go this way and then this way again, because it starts to twist. And if you're working on a larger blanket, like this is all pretty much big enough now to where I don't have to turn the entire thing. I can just turn the top of it and it's twisted. And then I turn it back. But yeah, get in it. It doesn't matter which way, but just alternate directions each time. And that keeps your yarn from getting all twisted up. You're welcome, my dear. Trying to get into focus here. There we go. Especially if you have more than one color of yarn that you're working with and you have them, you know, both attached to the project. You don't want to keep, you know, rotating and rotating and rotating the work. You want to do a half turn and then turn back. Think about your habits and the things that you do repetitively, because if you don't, you might be making, you know, unhealthy habits or doing things that aren't good for your body or doing things that aren't good for your project in one way or another. So a lot of us lack body awareness. It's just not uncommon to not have a lot of body awareness. So just check in with yourself. One little check that I have is that if I have to pull like a big length of yarn, I take a deep breath when I do that, because a lot of the time we just sit and hold our breath while we're working. We don't even realize it. Good night, Misty. Oh, I'll bet. I'm glad you're home, back home safe. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Another thing I do is I try to remember to put my work down at the end of every row and just kind of spread it out, take a look at it, check it over. You know, my little saying is lay it down and admire it. You know, I check it out, I look at it, I go, oh, this is so nice. Look what I made. Am I frozen up here? What's going on? Okay. Anyone have anything interesting or fun planned for this summer? Who's got travel plans? And is anyone thinking about going to any knit or crochet events or conferences or sheep and wool festivals or anything like that? Yarn crawls. I went to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival this month. It was really fun. How long have I been on? Almost an hour. Yeah, I can definitely feel my shoulder because there's nowhere for me to rest my arm on this and on this configuration. I think I needed to pull my chair in a little bit closer. I need to sit just a little closer to the table. But you have to pay attention to how your body feels and what it's doing. I mean, we're all holding our breath all the time. Especially if you have any kind of anxiety. You're probably holding your breath and don't even realize it. So that's the first thing you have to do when you're crocheting. You have to pay attention to your breath and see, am I breathing here? And then set an intention for your habits, like breathing, taking breaks, stretching your hands. Laying down your work, looking it over. And laying your work down at the end of every row has several purposes. And one of them is to check and make sure you're not making a mistake that you're not noticing. Like, just slow down and notice what you're working on. And make sure it looks the way you want it to look. I do not know what that sound is. I really don't. I feel like it must be coming out of the phone, but it doesn't sound like it's coming out of the phone. It sounds like it's coming from over here somewhere. I don't know. Could it be these? Well, this is actually on. I didn't know it was on. I mean, these are tools that I use in when I'm crocheting also. Usually I use this one. And I set it for 30 minutes, and then when it goes off, I take a break. Because a lot of the time we say we're going to take a break. We say we're going to stand up and walk around. We say we're going to stretch. But if you don't have a prompt or a timer or a reason to get up or a reminder, you can easily just keep going and not do it. But usually that's what I do is I'll flip one of those cubes over and work for 30 minutes and then stretch. Hello, Lower Michigan. Good to see you. Did you hear that crack? It's my elbow. I'm working here with my arm unsupported and I'm feeling it in my elbow, so probably not going to hang out too long, but this is I think I showed it before, but this is a fascia tool that I use for self-care and massage, and just a way that I take care of my arms and hands when I'm crocheting. Fascia is the connective tissue in between all the muscles, like the tissue around the muscles, and it's supposed to slide very easily. You know, when you move, it's supposed to slide, and you can see the blood flow coming up to the surface. And sometimes it gets stuck together, like with repetitive motion and bad, you know, just our movements. Sometimes it sticks together and it's supposed to glide. So this helps separate the fascia layers that have that are stuck together. And it feels really good. Sometimes if you really use it really hard, and you can bruise from it. So I don't generally use it that hard because I have lymphatic issues, so your lymphatics are right under your skin. So if you really like press too hard, you can damage those guys. So I'm pretty careful with my lymphatics. Coming to the end of this ball of yarn, and I don't see another one on the, I have one of those little 3-tiered trays on wheels that you get at Michael's over here with my projects on it that I'm working on. And I don't see another ball of this color, which I believe is called Toy. One of them is Vintage Peach, and the other one is called Toy. Of course, none of them have labels. I'll have to go grab one from the other room. The Odysseys, I know. I'm really sad about it. I have picked up a couple other hooks. I'll tell you where I got some furls recently, where was in the trade, the buy sell used Odyssey in the group. I got a bunch of used ones. But I do hope they recover from their supply chain issues or whatever they're having problems with. I don't think they're the only ones suffering from that kind of issue. I bought a couple hooks from this Ophir. I love them too. I bought a couple hooks from this Etsy seller. It's a very pretty hook. I like the weight of the Odyssey, so I don't think this hook is really heavy enough for me, but I like the way they look. They look really nice in photos. I'm gonna go grab another ball of this yarn. Oh, oops. I swear I had another one of these in here. Brand new one. I don't know where it went. I'm probably sitting on it. This is actually the vintage peach. This one's the vintage peach, and this light one is toy. I think I said them the other way last time. Having my way with this ball of yarn. Now, Betty. Hear that? I have no idea what's making that sound. Some kind of notification. Dye lots are different, yay. That's great. Oh, they look different. I'm gonna act like I don't see it. Ah! Oh man, I want to scream. Maybe nobody will notice but me. What do y'all think? Do you see a difference? Hi. We don't see it. We don't see it. La 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 la. It's the same. It's the same. Nobody ever has to know. I see nothing. See no evil, smell no evil. I don't know why I didn't start a new ball with this project. I used up, I think because the yarn didn't come in as fast as I wanted it to. I don't remember what I'm thinking half the time. These project ideas got interrupted. I was trying to do something else. I was trying to do this and then something else came along. It was that Noro. Honestly, I think I'm just going to design on Noro going forward because I love it. Thanks for following. I appreciate it. It's really not noticeable. It's one of those things. If somebody told you, you would notice it. Or if I was like entering it in a competition or something like that, I would have to redo it, or I don't know what I would do. Probably just not enter it. I don't know. But since it's just a sample for me for my pattern and forthcoming books that I'm going to write with these patterns in them, it's all good. It's okay. It's okay. Turquoise is next. Turquoise, the light of my life. Turquoise is my favorite color in this pattern. Duck egg. I like the duck egg too. I like the duck egg and the turquoise. I like peachy colors too. It is Stylecraft Special DK. I like that yarn for when I want to do an intentionally striped blanket. They have a million colors. The color combinations are freaking endless. You can pretty much do anything you want with it. This color that I'm working with right now is called Vintage Peach. The names of the other colors in this project are Cream, Duck Egg, Turquoise, and Toy. Toy. T-O-Y. Toy. Seems like a weird name for it, but it is what it is. I feel like I put blue and orange together a lot. Like, I mean, basically this color is a variant of orange, right? And I've got blue, 2 blues and cream, 2 oranges, 2 blues, and cream. But I feel like I do blue and orange a lot. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh no. Okay, I just dropped a hook on the floor for another project. I don't know where it went. And I heard it. Oh. It was one of the smaller furls, and you know, sometimes when you drop those, the heads on them break. I hope that didn't happen. It was for my half moon goddess. I don't know if I have another one in that size. Of course, there are no Odysseys left in the whole entire world. What am I going to do if that's broken? Please don't be broken. Please don't be broken. That's what you get for using a weighted hook. I think it's like a C or a D. I think it might be the only one I have. This one I'm using a G, which is I think a 4 millimeter. Might be a 4.5. I think it's a 4 millimeter hook with the Stylecraft. But I have another project sitting here, my half moon goddess shawlette that I'm working on for a crochet along. think I'm probably gonna stop after this row. Maybe I'll do one more row and bring in the turquoise just because that's the funnest row of this pattern. And then I'm gonna take off for the night. Get some rest. Keep being productive tomorrow. I gotta get my house clean. Whoops. Now I'm just trying to go too fast and show off. Can you see it now? I think it's more, the new yarn is just a little bit thicker. Not really the same. I should go back and redo this whole stripe with the new ball, but I'm not gonna do it. Whatever. Wouldn't have been so bad if I had started it. If I did the whole stripe with it. I guess if I were doing this for a competition, that's what I would do. I would take out this whole stripe and I would do it with the new ball. Because you would not be able to tell. It's so far. The other stripe is so far down the blanket. You'd never know. Uh-oh. Good night. Somebody on Facebook is saying good night. That's better. Everyone's super quiet tonight. You guys okay? Thank you very much, MLH. Thanks for following. Amy Bryson says, I'm crocheting. It's been an epically crappy week. I was just enjoying. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear that. It's a tough time of year, especially if you work with kids in schools. You know, people trying to. The kids are all worked up because it's almost summer break. It's just hard. I get it. I had some wins this week getting some things done in my business that have just been holding me back, quite honestly. Um, so I'm ready to take off here. Got these, lots of patterns coming. I have a backlog of patterns that I'm going to, be opening the floodgates on pretty soon here. Honestly, I don't remember how long I've been working on this one because I've been rotating with other projects. So I didn't work on it straight from beginning to end. But you can do this one in 6 days, yes. You might have to. The original 6-day blanket was 6 days working 2 hours a day. You might have to do more than two. Blah. Let me start over. You will have to do more than 2 hours a day with this one to finish in 6 days, but it can be done. Somebody said, hello, newbie here. I think I've lost my mojo. Oh, I'm sorry. Facebook user says, I can't wait to start that pattern. Nice. Miss Gloria, try the 6-day star blanket. That'll get you back on track. It'll make you so happy. It'll make you love crocheting again. The 6-day family of blankets, 6-day star blanket. Use any old yarn you want. Use your scraps. I have yet to write an article about how to make a scrappy star. But you basically use your scraps. Use up your scraps on your star blanket. Make your star with all your leftovers. You'll love it. That's my advice. Been crocheting since I was 7 years old, so I'll be 56 on Thursday. So how many is that? 39 years. 39 years? Huh? 56, 49 years. I've been almost crocheting for 50 years. Suddenly feel old. Young at heart, though. Young at heart. Since I was 9, taught by my mom and auntie. Yeah, I actually was watching my, I was talking about it earlier on the live, my aunts and my grandmother, and my mom crocheted too. But she's not like a crochet all the time. I when I learned how to crochet, I just became a crochet all the time person, crochet or knit all the time, every day. My mom's not really like that. She just has a project that she wants to do, and she does a project and then she puts it down for a while. So I'm not going to be dumb and use up this last little bit, because I'm going to have to change in the middle of the, of the row, and then it's going to look different. So I'm being smart this time. Congratulate me, because I feel like a genius because I just did that. I didn't do it on the last one. I had to do it on this one. But yeah, when I learned, I was kind of watching them, and so I figured out how to do it by watching them. And then I wanted to knit. My grandmother was the only one that knitted, and I wanted to knit, and she showed me how to knit, but I was only 7, and it didn't really stick. But then I learned to knit again later in life. I taught myself, and because I had already, like been taught how to do it, I learned just from, I'm the type of person that can learn from reading a book, like when people say I can't read patterns. I'm the person that can do it by reading the instructions, and not by following somebody on a video. I don't know how y'all do that. And then people will say, "Oh, I didn't know about this or this or this in your pattern. I didn't know I was supposed to end on row 4. I just watched the video. I didn't follow the pattern." Like, what? No wonder you're frustrated and confused, because you're just only trying to do the pattern from the video. Facebook user says, I vacationed summers with my grandparents in Macon, Georgia growing up. My grandmother spun her own cotton thread after she picked it. Holy moly! She taught me when I was 8 years old, hot summer nights on the porch learning. Oh, that's such a good story. One day I'm going to go around, I'm going to get a bus, like one of those tour buses, like rock bands travel around in, and I'm going to have it decorated with the 6-Day Kid blanket on the side of it. And it's going to have the 6-Day Kid blanket on one side and the star blanket on the other side. And I'm going to drive around the country crocheting, and I'm going to meet people and listen to their stories like that. Talk story and crochet with them. So I don't know who it was that made that comment about Macon, Georgia, but I'm coming to visit you so we can talk about that. Sounds so nice. Oh, thanks for following. Yeah, I have to read it. And then people say, I'm a visual learner, so I need the video. But reading is visual. Reading and following the written instructions, that is visual. That's visual learning. My grandma crocheted, but I never learned from her. I taught myself from a book. Okay, this is going to be my last row, and I'll just do that again, and I'll explain what I do. This is how I change colors, and I do not tie knots. Okay, this is the last stitch of the row, and I don't complete it. I leave the last 2 loops unworked, and then I bring in my new color. And I pull that through, and then I take the 2 ends. This is the working yarn, and these are the 2 tails that I'm not going to use, and I flip them up over the working yarn, and hold it to the back, and then I start the turning chain for the next row or whatever. And then those stay there until I complete the blanket. And then when I do my edge, what I do is I work down the side of the edge a single crochet row, and I'll take this color, matches this cream, it matches here, and I'll put them like that. And then I'll work over them for like 2 stitches each one. And not the whole, I won't work over them and then cut them off. That's crazy, but I just will go 2 stitches, 1 or 2 stitches each, and send them in the direction of their buddies that they match the color of. And then when I complete the edge, then I'll go back and I'll work this in to the color it matches, and I'll work this one down into here and weave it in. Or I'll weave it into the edge if it matches color. That's how I do my edges. I never tie knots unless it's an emergency. And by emergency, I mean something broke, something came loose, and there's not enough length to weave it in the proper way. And so the only way to secure it is to tie a knot. That's the only time I would tie a knot, is if that was the only way to secure the work and I was making a repair or I made some kind of boo-boo. I don't tie knots, and yeah, that's how I do it. I show it on all my videos. I show it on my swatch video for this blanket, how to change colors. I think in my swatch video I say I never weave them in, but I weave them in now. I don't like it, but I do it. It's just one of those things. I don't know. I have come to really appreciate attention to detail. And I think knots are, you know, a detail that I just don't want in my project. People learn about the magic knot, and then they want to use that, and they think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread until it comes undone in one of their projects. And you know, you always hear, I've never had one come undone. Come on. I call BS, because you don't really know that you've never had one come undone. You sold that project and you gave it away. Most of us crochet very few things for ourselves. We give away and sell most of what we make. And so you don't know what happened to that knot. It went somewhere, somebody put it in the washer and dryer, and it came out. And pulling on it in opposite directions is not the way to test it, because that's not how it's not gonna be pulled in opposite directions in your project. It's going to be, you know, it's going to be twisted and turned, and it's not going to be held against tension like that. I wouldn't take a chance on a magic knot. I just wouldn't do it. I've never had one come undone. You don't know that. And they say, oh, they pull it really tight. It's never, have you ever seen those paper things you put your finger in and you pull like that, and you can't get your fingers out because of the tension? Well, that's the magic knot. How do you get that? How do you get out of that thing? By bringing your fingers together, and then it loosens up. And I think that's exactly what the magic knot does. And then I've heard people say, put a dab of glue on it. What? I don't want glue in my blanket. Why would I want a dab of glue in my blanket to to dry up and scratch the little baby. What? That's crazy talk. Dab of glue. Come on now, just weave in your ends. Just weave them in. Nobody hates doing it more than I do. But it's worth it. And the way that I do it, I had somebody make a blanket for me. Yeah. Oh, put a dab of glue on it. Come on. I had somebody make a blanket for me one time, and she weaves her ends in the same. She does the same thing. I had to take the edge out because my kittens, I was fostering kittens, and I didn't think they could reach the blankets, and they were growing every day, and they got up on those blankets one day and they scratched one of them. They had really sharp little claws, and they were hissy little kittens, and and they snagged the edge, just the little edge of that blanket, and I thought that I could just undo a little bit of it and redo it, but the person that did it was left-handed, so she had done it, she had crocheted in the opposite direction from how I had crocheted. And she had woven her ends in the same way I wove in my ends. And I destroyed the border of that blanket, getting those edges out. I freaking destroyed the entire thing. I had to cut. Oh my God. I was so upset about it. She made the blanket for me for the photo shoot. For the pattern, and then she was going to give the blanket to her first grandchild, and my cat snagged it. And then I had to redo it, but my point is, those ends were never coming out. I mean, I practically had to drop a bomb on that blanket to get those ends out of there. It was upsetting. Those ends were in there good. They were never coming out, and there were no knots, and there was no glue. Absolutely no glue. Give me a break. Glue. I love how people call things magic this and magic that in crochet, just to make it sound better than it actually is. Amy Bryson says, I remember that whole ordeal. Yeah, I think that I was on a live trying to do it, and oh my God, I was so upset. I was like, the whole time I was like, I'm sorry, Heather, I'm sorry. It was Heather Hollinger, the one that designed the rainbow, the tea cake rainbow blanket that I did on the marathon a couple months ago. It was her, and she's like one of my best mods. I mean, they're all best, but she's been with me a long time, and yeah, I let my kittens get her blanket, and I messed up the border. I messed it up. I had to redo it all because I couldn't just do that one row. Once I took one row off, I had to take them all out because she was left and I'm right. And I didn't even think of it, but Glynis, several of my mods are left-handed, but Glynis was like, "Oh, so you're gonna redo the whole thing because it's left-handed," and I was just like, "Ah!" Hi, Facebook user. Is that you, Heather? Your ears burning? Gloria says, oh wow, I'm a lefty, but I crochet right. So if I have someone who's left-handed that wants to learn how to crochet, I will have them try to do, hey Jenny, what's up girl? There's one of our awesome mods right there. yeah, if I have someone who is left-handed and they want to learn how to crochet, I will have them um, try to learn right-handed first because it's just easier. There are a lot more left-handed resources than there used to be. But if you're going to crochet right hand, it's just easier. It's just easier, right? And also, a lot of left-handed people are ambidextrous because they have been adapting to a right-handed world their whole lives. So I'll have them try right-handed first and see how it feels for them. And then if they just can't, like I had one lady say to me, you can't just flip it over. Left-handed people think differently than right-handed people. Our brains work differently. So so I have had people that just like cannot get it right-handed. So then I'll have them, if that's the case, I have them try right first, and if they're like no, nope, 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 then I just switch to the left hand, and I learned how to crochet left-handed so that I could teach left-handed people how to crochet. That's the easiest way. But that's the only time I ever crochet left-handed, but I did think like, oh, this would be cool. I would never have to flip my work. I could just go right-handed, and then instead of flipping, I would just switch hands and just go, just keep going back and forth if I ever wanted something to be like all right side, and I didn't want to flip. And it helps me remember like how awkward it feels when you first start crocheting, because now I've been doing it 50 years. I could do it in my sleep. I, you know, but people see that and they're like, why can't I go that fast? Why does it look so easy when you do it? Well, it's like because their hands haven't developed the muscle memory yet. So if I switch hands and start crocheting with my left hand, then I remember like, oh, this is what they're doing right now, and this is how this feels for them right now. Learning this is very awkward. It's hard to hold this hook. It's hard to make it do what I want it to do. I remember teachers making me use my right hand for classes. Yeah. I mean, people used to, I remember somebody said to me one time, like, when you hand your child something, hand it across to their right hand so that they won't be left-handed. Like, that's not how it works. But people used to like not want their children to be left-handed, and they wouldn't let them do things with their left hand. They would make them switch to use the right hand. Oh yeah. And that's why a lot of uh, I was ambidextrous, made to switch. Yeah, a lot of left-handed people I think are ambidextrous because they were made to switch. And so they thanks for sharing the live. So they learn how to do a lot of things with their right hand as well as their left. I think back in the day people thought you could control whether someone was left-handed or right-handed. Seems really silly. My grandpa was left-handed. He had scars on his left hand from teachers smacking his knuckles for making. Could you imagine being punished for something so silly? We called them ruler pops. Get popped if you used your left hand. That's terrible. I'm sorry y'all went through that. That's really sad. I never understood that even when I was younger. I was like, if somebody was really different, I was always like, oh wow, cool, they're different, like Someone came into class, a new kid, and it's like, oh, he's left-handed. Oh, wow. Like this one kid I remember was a really good artist. And I was like, wow, he can really draw. We had this girl come in and she played the violin, and it was like, oh, wow, she plays the violin. I don't know why people like, I don't know, get teased or made fun of for being different. I always was like, oh, wow, cool. They're different. That's cool. I said I was going to stop after this row. I think I will stop crocheting. And we'll just do my little hand routine. I don't like when I get this oil on my, a lot of lefties can write upside down. Oh, wow. I have a sister that taught herself to talk backwards. She spells the word backwards, and she says it, how it's, how it would be pronounced if it was spelled backwards. And she can do it really fast, too. Like, whole sentences. But she trained herself to do that. Okay, so I am a somatic practitioner. I practice Laban movement analysis and core energetics. And I used to be a dancer, so I have a little somatic, like awareness and routine that informs how I crochet, and just kind of listening to my body while I'm crocheting. I also have a lymphatic disorder called lipedema, so that also impacts like how I work and what I do. Amy Bryson says I can print upside down, but that comes from working with kids. So I use this lymphatic massage oil, and it's in my Amazon store if you're really interested. But this is something I do for swelling, to reduce any inflammation or swelling. And y'all can't see me on TikTok, but you can if you look in the little screen on YouTube. First you start, the lymphatics are up at the top of your neck. So, and then you have nodes up in your armpit. So just take your hand and just squeeze your armpit a few times. And that muscle in the front there, just gentle pressure, and do it on both sides. So because your lymphatics drain up, you have to start at the top and you clear the top nodes. And you get those clear. And then just a little gentle massage, just like squeezing in the armpit to get those lymph nodes. Your lymphatics are like your circulatory system, where it's like little, the fluid, runs through little veins, but they don't have a heart to pump them. It's your movement that pumps them. So then you start at the top of the arm, and you just like gently stretch the skin, and you go up. You start at the top, stretch it, and gently stretch the skin up. Little pumps going up, and work your way all the way down to your hand. And then I do the bottom too. I start up at the top, and it's just a very gentle, it's not a lot of pressure, but it's just a very gentle stretch, the skin all the way up. And then I do each individual finger. You just send the fluid up the arm, each finger up. You can tell I have a lot of swelling in my hands. I actually had liposuction on my arms because of the lipedema. So I had all the lipedema removed from my arms. You can see I have a little cough starting again. Thank you so much. Hi, Betty. I just finished up my first 6-day star and I'm so excited to try the other 6 days. Oh, make sure you tag me in your, when you post it so I can see. Okay, and then you just do the other arm. But you have to start at the top and go up, and you have to clear it. You have to clear the way up above before you start sending the fluid up. You have to clear it first. And then I do each finger. Your tutorials were so helpful. I'm so glad that you found them helpful. And you don't have to press really hard because the lymphatics are right under your skin. So if you press too hard, you might bypass them. And then I like to use this. It's called a fascia blaster. And I just do light. I keep it light. You can use harder pressure with these, but Gloria says, thank you for your inspiration. I've enjoyed your conversation. Oh yeah, give it a shot. You'll love it. You get your Crojo back. You get that Crojo right back. Pretty sure I already did this arm once when I was during the live, but you need oil for this. You don't need oil for the lymphatic massage I showed you. But I've just started doing this when I finish a crochet session just to, bye-bye, just to, you know, clear out any inflammation I might have. Okay. And then, just real gentle stretches. Gentle. I am hypermobile, so if your fingers don't go back this far, don't force them. Don't force them to go back like that. I saw someone do it like this. They went this way, and then they stretched every finger. And be gentle, gentle, gentle. If you feel anything like tingling or sharp shooting pain, you must stop. Easy breathing. I was thinking about just like offering a little class like this once a week. Like maybe like 30 minutes of stretching and breathing and yoga for crocheters and knitters to follow, and then maybe do a little meditation with our projects. I can really feel this one, and I'm not sure why. And then I just put my thumb like right there in the palm of my hand and just gentle, 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 gentle. Sometimes I see people doing these stretches online and they're really being too hard on their bodies. Good night. Bye now. All right, my friends. Let me flip this. Ooh, that's too close. Too much zooming in. Oh my goodness. I'm seeing the delay where you could see all the mess. that I was trying to hide on the live. Oh, well. Oh, wow. Bye, Jenny. I can tell it's you because you always call me gorgeous. You're planning to visit? Oh my gosh. I was just thinking when you popped on, I was like, I need to get my passport. All right, girl, you're coming to visit and I'm going back with you. I'm going to visit. I'm going to Oz. I'm going to Oz. Yes, I need to get my passport. My sister said that to me the other day too. You need to have that passport. Yes, I'm coming. You're selling up. Okay. Awesome. Yay, yippee. I'm happy for you, girl. I'm happy. We've come a long way, my friend. We have come a long way. Road trip to Bendigo. Oh, yes. I really want to go to Bendigo Woolen Mills. And then we're going to get that brick that you have to untangle. That's going to be our retreat. It's going to be called Untangled. We're going to untangle that big hay bale of yarn. Oh my goodness. I hope you're coming to the East Coast so we can plan something and I can take you to all the yarn places. That's one Garada Mills, okay? I always think it's Bendigo. I don't know why. Once I go to Bendigo, I probably won't want to go get the scraps and untangle it, but I feel like that sounds fun. It's probably one of those things where it would sound fun. It would be fun for about 15 minutes and then I'd be like, okay, that was fun. That's enough. I can't wait. I can't wait. So exciting. All right, friends, I'm going to sign off. It's been really wonderful being with you. Yeah, and I'd leave you to deal with it. Be like, you can have it. Seriously, though, I wonder how long it would take, like 6 or 8 of us or 10 of us, however many Aussies there are, to get together. And, like, I wonder how long that would take to untangle that thing. I bet we could do it in a couple hours, honestly. A bunch of us. I can't type what I'm thinking. I'll just fill in the blanks. Oh, weeks. Oh, wow. Hours. I think we could do it in a night. You crazy. All right, friends. Have a great night and have a great week. Hopefully I'll see you sometime this week. If I get on here, I'll do my best to do it. Mwah. Bye.